Otherwise, we're going to get started. Okay, so the directions say to identify the domain. So identify the domain and the range of each relation. Then we have to determine, is it a function? Okay, so when we're talking about the domain is the x values. Okay, so I'm going to write myself a note that it's the x values, and that goes from the left to right. When we're talking about the range is the y values, and that goes up and down. Okay, so let's look at number 1. So as I'm looking left to right on this graph, so left to right, that's the way we're looking. Is there a specific place where we can say it starts exactly here, or it ends exactly at 5? Might be like, yeah, Mr. Grice, I can. And I'm going to be like, no, you can't. Okay? See that little arrow right there? That arrow means that this line just keeps going, keeps going, keeps going, and as it keeps going, there's no stopping, starting, or stopping to that. Okay? So when it is like that, they're saying that our domain, the set of x's, since we don't know where it starts or stops, that it is all real numbers. I don't know where it starts. I don't know where it stops. Now, look at the range. The range now, we're talking about up and down, the y values. Okay? And even though it looks like it stops at 4, remember what we just talked about. It keeps going both directions. It keeps going. So if it keeps going, I'm not sure where it stops. Okay, the arrows mean that it keeps going. Okay, so we would say that the y is also all real numbers. Okay, and the last thing, is this a function? So if I'm checking if it's a function, I'm drawing a vertical line and I'm trying to find the spot. Does it ever pass twice? Okay, are there ever 2 points that it touches? And in this case, there are no points, which means it is a function. Yes. Let's look at number 2. So the first thing with number 2 is we're looking to see, trying to find the domain. So that's from left to right. So is that where it starts and stops right there at -5 and 1? I would disagree, because as this goes down, it slowly gets wider. It slowly gets wider. So there's no specific start or stop to it, which means that domain is all real numbers. And guess what? You don't have to write that down every single time. There's a cool symbol that you can use, okay? If you draw 2 L's next to each other, and you make one of them look like an R. Let's do that again. Okay, that symbol means all real numbers. That's what it means. Okay? Now, let's look at the Y. As it goes down and down and down and down and down, there's no stop to it. But look at right there. Does it go all the way up? Can it be at 5 or 10 or 15? No, because there's a specific stop to it. And that specific stop is at the point 3. So, when we would write this, we would say that y can it be greater than 3? No. So it has to be less than, and it's actually on the mark, so that means it can be less than or equal to 3. And that's it. Now, is it a function? You tell me. Is there any point where you draw a line, a vertical line, not a horizontal, vertical line? Everywhere you draw it, it'll only touch once, which means that this is a function.